Hi there, welcome to Carcassonne tonight with 2, maybe even 3 matches concurrently running in a few minutes. We will have Glovir versus martypartyouje, and that's the match I'll focus on, and then currently running Vega Orion versus Viv. I expect Viv to be able to dispatch Vega rather easily, so not that interesting to me, but I try to keep an eye on this in the second window here on the left side. And later in about an hour, texe versus mosopal. Depending on these two matches, we might not be covering the first game of the match at 20 UTC, but we'll see about that later on. So for now, a quick look at with stats. Yeah, master since I don't know how many years, 6, 7, broken the 800 barrier quite often. Currently sitting in first spot in the rating with 863, and this should be his peak rating overall as well. Vega currently around 550, 554, but has quite a few dips here below 500 even, and well, we'd see. Looks good here overall, but considering these are 3,000 days, so I don't know, almost 10 years of development, I don't expect them to become a master soon, and definitely not to hold this. But so Viv should be the favorite here. And in the other match, we have martyparty from the Czech Republic. Looks a bit wonky here. Okay. Master doesn't play a lot. Well, 2,500 games might be a lot for some, but definitely not in 6+ years. I'd say he should be the favorite against Glovir. These are Glovir stats, also a master, but quite obviously has trouble to hold the 700+ rating here. And therefore, I would expect the player from the Czech Republic to win this one, but we'll see. Hi, Kirillo. If you're asking me who I'm rooting for, well, I'd root for Glovir, as he is one of my co-hosts, at least technically. He hadn't time in quite a while, but I guess sometime down the road he'll be on here as again. And in regards to the other matches, I don't know. I might slightly favor mosopal later. For now, let's check. So these two here opted for the tournament setup, and Viv and Vega will play slow format, so their match might take a longer. Of course, this would depend on whether it needs a third game or not. So what are we having here? Glovir starting player took the 4 points. Marty countered as one would expect by starting a city of their own. G with the road, and then with the monastery nicely controlling Blues City. And they face not the easiest decision here. Sure, you'd like to attack the road, but a counter could be incoming. And in the end, you might just lose this 8-point loop road to your opponent. On the other hand, what else would you like to do with this crossroad in this situation? I don't see a better move. Yeah, next restriction by yellow. So far, so good. Looks like the other two are taking their sweet time to start. I don't know why, but we'll see. The one thing I'd like to prevent would be 3 concurrently running matches, but of course this depends on the players, and I can't do anything about it. So Marty takes away the road attacking option, but this is really annoying here. His city at the bottom is already limited to 2 spaces where he needs city plus road pieces, and then he adds a third one to the list. But he had no better choice, right? Could have gone with the Dorito here, but that's definitely not better than trying for another city on the left side. Yeah, looks like we have a game in the left window as well now. This one without tile overview or scoreboard, just to use the retail space there as efficiently as possible. In the meantime, on our main screen, Marty was able to close the 6-point city in the middle. Also, of course, meepled this road, hopes to get a chance to attack yellows. But for now, it doesn't look likely that blue will be able to take this one over. There are just too many problems awaiting. Yeah, that's an interesting choice, and I like it. Sure, he'd risk getting limited to the remaining starting tile, but the upside, of course, is to draw yellow city into this restricted square and later go for a kill there, forcing 2 dead meeples of yellow versus 1 of your own. That should be a good exchange. But slight trepidations here. Doesn't immediately go for this move. Quite likely considers this option, maybe this one here. So this or this here, maybe even up top, protecting the road connection. Or, which I'd like as well, would be just to close this one. But he takes the safest approach, hoping to kill this here later, else he would have added the horse there. Yep, and now the road is under pressure. Yeah, that was his option here. Yeah, I think this might have even been better than this option. Pressuring yellow's road, giving ourselves the chance to liberate your road meeple. So blue took 2 points up top, prevented limitation to a crossroad there. Yellow started a new city, which is okay. Yeah, there really wasn't an ideal space for this vanilla. Problem with this position here is, of course, once you add anything next to your monastery, in some cases you might just take away options to continue your city side / ruin on the right. So not ideal, but everything else was worse. For example, going over here and then catch a Dorito like that, and your city could be dead in an instant. And yeah, what Kyrillo is saying is he would have preferred this option because this restriction here to the one and only starting tile is rather likely. And yeah, I don't have an answer for your question as well. Maybe he did consider moves like this, which limit this square to the remaining starting tile or rows, so 2 tiles anyway. So the curve wouldn't have done that much, but in some cases, when your opponent can't force a road here, you might be able to still go for daggers or even Doritos. Yeah, because you don't mind adding something to your opponent's part of the city, as in the end, this might end up shared anyway. So yeah, I'd have to concur with Kyrillo here. This curve placed over here would have been the better idea. Yeah, starting tile is gone anyway. Blue just got the last one. Yeah, to me this looks like yellow doesn't really care anymore about the safety of this monastery. Doesn't mind if this gets killed. But we'll see. For now, of course, he could protect. Of course, he could close his city. But the move I'd like would be this one here. And going for a starting tile restriction. Yeah. Why? Would be my question. Sure, it's 4 points for the city, but you lose these 4 points on the road, so it's net 0 points. And this year would have had way more upside, even though blue got this one, and actually would have been troubling for blue as well, threatening the kill. Yeah, I think this here is a missed chance. Yeah, I don't expect yellow to fill this square now. doesn't strike me as hoping to get the rows, and even if they do, why put it there? You could score points somewhere else with the rows in almost any circumstances. So in the end, I would expect either something over here to restrict these squares, or 2 points. Yeah, this orientation might work as well, although maybe straight up top would have been a tad better, just in case you could kill blue city like that, for example. On the other hand, unification of blue city and yellows here seems a bit more unlikely with this orientation. It didn't work out for yellow like they hoped it would. Also, interesting monastery spot choice. With still 3 in the deck, giving this here, this 5-pointer back to blue, wouldn't have been my preference, at least. Okay, Marty, of course, doesn't go here, because if he would, he'd have to take the road. And again, this road then could end up in a 50-50, which is nothing you'd like to see with only 1 meeple in hand. He doesn't mind a possible restriction of this city, because there are still 2 daggers left, and just takes the simple points here. And yeah, now he has 2 monasteries there, and both in good shape. So still not happy with this position by Glovir. Sure, I get it. He just hopes that blue would provide these 2 pieces to then liberate his monastery, and in some cases he could just build up on top and restrict one of these squares. But with 3 monasteries out there, I just don't like giving your opponent a good stacking option. Yeah, Kurt asks why Marty hasn't used the horse to release his road meeple. And my best guess would be the neighboring city. He didn't want to compromise its health. But speaking about health, this road is now dead. And this here was rather risky. But for now, it looks quite good for blue. This could turn, though, once yellow closes this one, maybe expands the road to incorporate another city. But would they really use a dagger here? just to get the chance over here? I don't think so. Maybe they'd consider this with more meeples in hand and the road monastery, but in that case, depending on the status of these daggers, you might even just meeple the field outright. Yeah, blue tries their best to delay completion of yellow's extender city, but yellow immediately got the remaining rows to counter. And gets the next cap to close it, both with 2 meeples in hand. Blue way more likely to get one back than yellow. They only need to fill either of these squares. And would surely love to go here, and maybe they should have taken the curve, snatch the 9-point field before yellow does so. I would even use the vanilla right now over here. But then it's just a 6-point field and not the 9-point field you could take with a curve. So in the end, blue might end up just starting a new city in a safe space, maybe over here. They could also attack yellow's ruin. I mean, the ruin is worth 11 points, and there are still 3 Doritos left. Yeah, but they go for the field. The reason why I didn't prefer this orientation was the ruin next to it, but might be okay. So With has won the first one as expected. Yeah, good idea, Kurillo. Going over here, either close this or go for the connection. Only problem being that you can't then take the field over here because you'd compromise the attacking option. But I'd rather attack this directly. At least would have done so with 3 Doritos left. The given permutation of tiles, it's not that easy to kill a square. Yeah, yellow restricts blue city here. Definitely a good idea. Only problem being the remaining splitter, which could be used by blue for a nice effect on their field. But taking away all but 1 cap from blue to close the city is definitely a good investment of a dagger. Yeah, Marty, do you attack now? It might be your last chance. He doesn't. With only one meeple, I get it. I mean, there are still 5 curvies left to get the monk back. Okay, 4, because you'd use the dagger at the bottom, of course. And you might consider using the Doritos there as well, so yeah, I get it. Yeah, connection would have been a good idea. I mean, it's not dead yet. He still has chances, but he needs the caps here now. But I guess Glovir will do something about that, restricting this city again to city plus road once he's counted all the remaining caps. As long as these two are playing around here, nothing really happens to the overall score. Both just adding 1 or 2 points. Yeah, here we go. Expected restriction. And this, of course, is the worst tile to attack, because then you only have the 50-50. And we know that Marty, for now, doesn't need to attack this. There are still other options, and I mean, this here is a 10-point move. Sure, yeah, he has to do this because the dagger would be a +3 move for him. Yellow's field is worth 12 points. Blue's field, damn it, Blue's field would be worth 9 points after the monastery. Whoa, he doesn't use the meeple, which I don't like at all. It's a 7-point move. You have the right-handed dagger to get a meeple back. You have a Dorito to get a meeple back. Hey, Juan. Yeah, Kirillo, what's your take on this monastery? Would you have meeple this one? Yeah, thought so. Thanks for the confirmation. And for the yeah, good question. Yeah, and yellow knows what's up. They meeple this 2-point road, knowing full well they have to take away the option for blue to score 5 with tempo. Yeah, now the trouble for Marty. He could have taken 7. He didn't. He gets a piece for exactly 0 points. And now has 2 moves left. And it's rather unlikely to score the 7 he could have taken. So the one and only salvation tile for blue, which is the right-handed dagger they needed for their city, is in yellow's hands. I don't see any quick point options for yellow. They could take the 4-point ruin on the left side. But 4 points might not be enough. Because there is still the splitter in the deck, which would score 7 for blue. So yellow just dumps the dagger. Yeah, and what does blue do here now? Could take a 4-point road. Yellow with 3. Why 4 if you have 6 available to you? Even if it doesn't matter, because your opponent, of course, would get a splitter. Yeah, exactly. What? Doesn't make a lot of sense in terms of points, but in terms of winning percentage, it doesn't matter whether you place this Dorito here or frankly anywhere else on the board. As yellow was guaranteed to draw the splitter, close their city for 4 points and get 6 for the field on top. So doesn't matter whether blue would have scored 6 instead of 4. As long as the point difference doesn't matter in the specific match format, and that's the case in the Champions League. Yeah, Kaika suggests time pressure. Have you looked at the clocks? I didn't. Might have been the case. Marty is known to need a lot of time. Not as worse as Moya, but he might be one of these slower checks. Okay, 9 seconds left for Marty. Yeah, well, in the end, it didn't matter for him. And even if tiles would have been reversed, then Glovir would still have won because he would have closed his city up top with the Dorito as well. In a situation like this, I really don't mind separating your concerns here, or at least trying to separate the concerns. Sure, your opponent would then gladly try a double attack. What? Where's the meeple? This is total chicken move. If you go there when there are still all 3 daggers for this square here left, just for the love of the Carcassonne deck, please meeple this one. Don't be afraid getting restricted into this road. I need to refresh. Okay, I thought so, but yeah, I missed this one. Okay. Again, please upvote the bug I listed in the chat. That's exactly the thing we just witnessed. Tiles being placed, but meeples not shown. Vega Orion forced a decider in the match against With. So interesting stuff there as well. Yeah, looks like the bug is taking place there too. Need a screenshot. Whoop. That's just too good. And over here, our main course. Yellow with a nice road. Blue quite likely should attack this one sometime. Can't. Road end at the bottom is already there. So this looks great for yellow. They hope to attack blue city on the left before blue gets a Dorito, preferably for blue at least. In a case like this here, when your city is under attack, I would even expect blue to use a cap there as well. At least with a city this valuable, with shields in it. Both are attacking the city on the right side. So this should become a ruin in the end. And if Viv now drops the curve here where he should, then it's very likely that he'd win the game. One dead, 2 dead meeple, a third one waiting to be killed. And Vega can't counter Viv's attack here. Yeah, doesn't look good for the Croatian there, even though he still has a 7-point lead. But with all these meeples in hand, yellow will take over rather sooner than later. Not much happened over here. Glovir tried to find a good space for this monastery, and yeah, just wasn't any good space available. Didn't like this option because his city in the neighborhood and one dagger already gone, plus the road over here. And he might need this space to attack the city if blue connects. Yeah, blue deliberating whether to just close their city there or protect the one on the left. At this point, 15 down, I would go for the right side as well. There is still another splitter left to possibly attack there too, because right now there are still 5 triple city tiles out there. Or maybe split yellow city here. Nice field brewing on the right side, and that's why blue claimed this already, and yellow dropped their first farmer as well. Second one by blue in a very nice position. So yellow won't be able to liberate their monk without inviting a blue's farmer into the main field as well. Yeah, tricky, but looks like the best decision just is to take 3 points and prevent yellow from taking 5. But they don't, they opt for 2. And then yellow gladly takes the 5 plus the monk back. There are still 2 left-handed daggers and 3 crossroads left, so it's not easy to restrict this square in a meaningful way. Yellow now has temporary meeple majority, and that's why they don't mind this move. They don't mind creating another attacking platform against blue city here. Yeah, I get this. Blue would rather love to kill this square to kill yellow's road meeple. To maybe get a long-term meeple majority once the city might be closed. But that's still not easy to accomplish. So if they wanted to get meeple back ASAP, they would have placed this Dorito this way. But of course, they'd rather create havoc here. Also restricting yellow's connection options severely, leaving only 3 instead of 5 triple city tiles. Yeah, yellow doesn't mess around. They invest a shielded Dorito, even though this restricts their farming options, just with the hope to prevent this city here from being closed. Yeah, still doesn't mess around. Could have also closed the road on the left side, but what for? He has 2 meeples in hand. His opponent has only the one. So kill the biggest threat on the board. Just save your temporary advantage. And try to bring it home with the 2 versus 1 meeple advantage here. This should work out for yellow. So that's a rather nice sacrifice here. And actually, as it looks now, Glovir might be totally okay with this farmer being on a separate field. And he's at +10, so where is my critical tiles box? Well, then let me just say it. This horse here is definitely critical to blue's success. The ruin is worth 10 points, and they gain these 10 points plus 1 for the horse, possibly plus another 4 for the road. So this tile alone could be a +15 swing, even +17 if they take this 6-point field in the end. Let me quickly test something here. Why does this not work? Okay. Whatever. Yeah, yellow preempts any field ideas by blue up top, takes this field. Not ideal. Now they have the road monastery in hand, and I think they should place it here. Even if they lose this field now, but the chance to get this meeple back is there. And this road meeple is still alive. You might as well equalize the field again. It's not easy to be blocked there. He takes the safer approach while keeping the meeple in hand, which I totally get. I mean, right now he's at +19. There are still a lot of quick point tiles out there. Yeah, I do understand this. So Wheat was able to win the third one. Just 7 points though. Would have expected bit more actually after these three early deaths rather. Looks like Vega was able to secure a separate field for them. So blue with quick points, yellow connects here to the field, knowing full well they'd use a curve here and would then tie the main field. If blue gets both curves and the dagger here, of course, then blue would take over on this field. But that's just a 9-point move for them, so definitely not the end of the world for yellow unless blue gets everything else as well, like for example a way to kill this connection and the remaining left-handed dagger as well to take this one here. Definitely good news for yellow. They got the remaining horse, so blue won't take over this ruin. And at -18, with 4 moves left, -20 now, the hopes of blue are dwindling, so they'll take this here now, quite likely, and then I would expect yellow to take the 6-point field and just be done with it. Whether they get a curve or not in the end doesn't really matter then. Yeah, Marty's hesitant, maybe. He rather roll the dice, take the field, hope to draw the remaining Dorito, but it's a shieldless Dorito, so this then would be 12 points in the end. Crossroad, in addition, could score another 4. Because there is actually no way that Glovir couldn't claim the 6-point field. All tiles still in the deck would allow him to do so. Yeah, but I'd still think should go for it. In some cases, there might even be an option to unite in these two fields with the Road Monastery, although yellow quite likely would kill that option upon taking the field. But yeah, the move with the highest scoring potential would be this one. Let's see if he goes for it or not. At -20, it looks like he has to. I mean, he has only 3 moves left versus Glovir's 4. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but what else is there to go for? I mean, if any of you has a better suggestion, please speak up. Two minutes on Marty's clock left. And he simply takes the 4 points. So will we see Glovir just taking the field? And he could do so like this, threatening the connection here. I like that. I do that. We'll see if he finds it, and if so, if he even goes for this option. I don't see a problem there, but he simply calmly takes 2 points. And that's the problem for blue. They have to connect up top. And then yellow should take the field right now. Which would be game over at plus 15. There are only 2 moves left for blue here, and they won't score more than 8 points. At least. Over here, there are 5, then 9 points max. Yeah, but yellow takes it seriously and checks the score again. In the end, he'll know that blue doesn't have a chance if he just takes this field. Which actually would work great in terms of our next match, because texe and mosopal should start in 4 minutes. As long as Glovir thinks about it, let's just check if they have a tournament set up. Doesn't look like it, so it might be a regular game with slow time as well. And the longer he takes, the more I suspect that he thinks about alternatives. For his sake, I hope he doesn't go for an attack here, even though that would win the game as well. Yeah, in the end, the expected move, even if it took him quite a long time to finally execute that one. So the slight underdog, but the one at least Kyrillo and I were rooting for, will win this match here. I think it's okay. Yeah, you might be right. A decider is always nice. But actually, in a case when there is a match waiting for us, I don't mind a sweep. Yeah, Marty takes it serious as well, of course. Still has 40 seconds to go, tries to find his best move. This is the last curve, so going for a bigger road on the left side doesn't make a lot of sense, but actually exactly this move here might be the most precise one, because at least could score 4 points with a straight over here. You could score 5 with a crossroad, or 5 with the Dorito in yellow's hands. In the end, none of these options will save the game for blue. They have to hope for their next 4 games. So let me quickly switch the order of matches here. Where are my buttons? There are the buttons. Yeah, congratulations to Glovir. Texe and Mosopal are not playing yet. Then let's take a quick look at next opponents. So Glovir will play against Pakshi next week. That's definitely the toughest of his 5 opponents. Yeah, why? No slouch as well. Erwin, yeah, I guess you know my take about taking only 2 minutes per game to think. So Glovir should be the favorite. Same in the match versus Cherry. And then somewhere at the bottom should be Marty. Boulaf from France, I don't know anything about. Quite likely Marty should be the favorite. Same against Horse and definitely against Meeple over People, especially if they play like they did against Cherry Papa today. And of course, Alexi will be the favorite in the last match of Marty. But in the end, if he manages to secure a better tiebreaker and 3 wins, this could still be enough to qualify for the playoffs. So 1 minute passed. Texe is online, has jumped in a game, and Mosopal is there as well. So here we go. Just need to find my scoreboard again. Here's my scoreboard. There it is. Oh, both rated 598. Interesting coincidence. Hey, Glovir, congratulations. slight imprecision. At least I don't like giving back this loop. And also, I'd rather have this pointed upwards due to the cap next to it. Come on. You could have played a few content moves just for the audience, but I get it. I would have loved the sweep today as well. It's always annoying if you have to play a decider. Well, unless you've lost the first game, of course. Yeah, and it pains me to see this one here. It usually is totally fine, totally the correct move to restrict the cap. But sometimes meeple just gets stranded there. And in a case like this here, I root for this blue highwayman, which I've looked it up. It's called in the English rule set. Although the word highwayman might not even be as old as Carcassonne itself, the city, not the game, of course. So sadly, it's dead. Rest in peace, Blue Highwayman. Rest in peace. But of course, all hope's not lost for the Hungarian here. One dead meeple is just one dead meeple and not the end of the world, even though he gets a second point now, or should get a second point now. Or does texe close this road? Nah, he goes for immediate 3 points here, which I think is fine, especially with his minor road here being under duress anyway. If it were closed up top or the curve were already in place, then I would have expected him to use the rows here. So blue was able to close their diamond on the left. Both took 9-point fields for now. Nice restriction of this field and at least one monastery square by yellow. But blue, which of the caps will they take? How about daggers? One gone. Then the right one would be fine. It depends a bit on your take regarding added volatility like a evil hamster square. Yeah, again, 2 daggers left. So blue doesn't defend here. They just hope to get one of these two daggers and possibly restrict or rather kill yellow's city here, because both splitters are gone. But yellow sure knows their stuff, prevents this from happening. Yeah, bad news for yellow though. Blue with the penultimate rose. Something is wrong here. Okay. What was I saying? Penultimate rose in blue's hands, so only one left for yellow to later get this road meeple back. Blue doesn't mind just taking the 2 points and dropping a cap in the vicinity of yellow's city, knowing full well that it's more likely for them to take these 2 points or have an option to attack or harass yellow's city there. Yeah, sacrificing immediate points with this crossroad to cut down on caps to close the city roughly to 50%. But when there are still so many caps left, I'd rather take the 2 points actually. Maybe just hope to get something to either restrict or attack the city on your next turn. Chances aren't that bad. At least there is no way that yellow would use the rose here, at least. Maybe they would actually, as long as they have enough meeples in hand. Blue creates another option to play against yellow city here. It's a bit iffy with 2 meeples in hand, but actually yellow could take this. The better move is though taking the cap on the left side. And with no splitters left, I think blue should just equalize the city on the left, keep their temporary meeple advantage, hope to get something to play against this city, maybe close this 8-pointer on the right side. Possibly even drawing the last curve to kill this monastery, and yeah, this monastery square too, because there are still 2 Rotaritos left. So this here is a double sinister hamster. Yeah, and yellow tries to kill this square, isn't successful. Blue was able to defend immediately. With all 3 starting tiles still in a deck, the move I would have loved by yellow would have been this one. Self-restricting to the starting tile, supplying the second road end. Of course, with the risk of being attacked from the bottom and being killed there. But there are a lot of pieces like triple city tiles to attack the city. Yeah, let's see. But problem for yellow was they couldn't even score quick points except next to their city, of course. And going up top, hoping for a curve. And there are only 2 crossroads left. Wasn't to their liking as well. Totally understandable. Yeah, one point to highlight would be that this rose here might end up connecting blue's field with yellow's field. So depending on the score and meeple's situation, once the rose hits, we'll see whether this might end up here or not to create a huge field, which would be in favor of the one with more meeples in hand, and quite likely would only be used here if someone needs to really make up for a bigger margin on the scoreboard, which currently isn't the case. This option is still present, but only with the remaining road monastery and both crossroads hitting here, so very unlikely. Yellow with the final curve liberates their monastery. Blue protects this one. I'm not sure that's a good move. Yeah, their field is protected here because the square is dead. There's only one starting tile left, so an attack here is rather unlikely to happen. So if they get one of the 2 remaining right-handed daggers, sure, they'd claim the 4 points here and add 3 to their field as well. In some cases, late in the game, they'd claim the 9-point field here outright. The problem, though, is what happens if yellow gets one of these daggers before blue does, or if blue doesn't meeple the field, well, then yellow could and would even attack blue's field here. The good news for blue, though, to attack or take this field, yellow would need the remaining starting tile. Yeah, Tesche with the rose now, with 3 meeples in hand. This won't end up here. He will just score 4 points up top. So this square is dead. No option to attack the field here. This one is still alive. But yellow, as of now, doesn't need to attack the field. Once the dagger for blue hits, yellow definitely would be behind by quite a lot even, because then blue would add 6 points due to these 2 cities, 5 points for closing the extender city, 1 point for the monastery, so we are at 12 plus a 6-point road. So 18 points with this dagger here. Therefore, yellow's best hope is to draw the dagger or at least get the starting tile before claim this field. But even then, leaving this possible end pointer here, definitely not something you'd love. And there's still this option here. There's still one big city tile left, so this might be a way to score a lot of points for yellow if they need it. For now, they take the 3 at the bottom. But actually, instead of the 3 points here, I would have taken this 5-point monastery, which would have extended yellow's field to the bottom, possibly including this city here later on. On the other hand, this would give back an attacking option against the field if blue gets a Dorito. So yeah, not ideal as well. And as Kyrillo suggested, taking the field here. So quite likely in that case, like this, to not harm this square was an option as well. And I don't get why blue added this monastery here instead of killing this square. This is totally inexplicable to me. Doesn't make any sense to me, but they did. And now they are at -8. 8 points are over here. Yellow can't do anything about this. But blue only has 2 moves, so they need to hit a cap now, else the chance to take the city will be gone no matter what yellow gets. And I don't see a way to attack yellow's field here. So to me, this looks like what's the status of shields? So the horse comes with a shield and the Dorito doesn't. Yeah, tough luck for blue. Even if they leave this empty as is. So claim a ruin on the right side, for example. And either yellow gets it or yellow just creates a ruin there. Doesn't matter. Looks like texe will win this one. Yeah, and so big fat question mark. I don't get this. I mean, blue had to hope to draw this dagger anyway. Why leave this one, yeah, for yellow to take? That doesn't make sense to me. Is the crazy one idea why? Yeah, might be. Maybe blue thought that he'd need to score these 8 points, so get both pieces themselves. But even then, you can't risk yellow dropping a farmer here and let them invade your, well, 18-point field, right? Yeah, texe could do more or less anything. Drop a farmer here, claim the ruin, just add 1 point and discard the cap. It doesn't matter. At +4, they'll win this game no matter what. But of course, they don't have the luxury of this virtual scoreboard. They need to score, or count rather, everything for themselves. In the end, they took this ruin away because they knew that blue could have claimed this with either the horse or the vanilla left. Yeah. Nice addendum. Yeah, let's quickly check the situation with the monastery. I'm just too curious to wait, and they might take a minute anyway to start the next game. Okay, we are just after blue's move here. And they were only at -6. Yeah, I mean, there is no way in hell you get the starting tile, another cap, and then the field. So there's no reason, at least in my book, not to immediately kill this square. You just need to draw this one here. Again, it's an 18-point move. At -6, 18 points are totally fine. This meeple situation, quite likely you would have had good chances to win this game. And just remember, the dagger hit. Yeah, tough loss for mosopal, and quite frankly, down to this one here. So let's check if they have created a second one. Oh, just started. Yeah, BGA. So first 4 points on the board for the Spaniard. Once they are back at the game table, at least. When you're playing with a normal time format, it's definitely no problem to take your time for each and every move. I'm not sure about the increments, roughly 40-45 seconds or something. It changes because it actually depends on the average playing time of the specific game. Why there? Why do you supply your opponent with a road? And I mean, your city is a tad safer from attack than up top, but at least up top you would create this one here, which you might take yourself with a crossroad. I think this one here is rather suboptimal. With this field, I might have even considered dropping a farmer right there. I mean, it's bound to grow. This here will get closed. This might. This as well. And you have expansion potential too. So why not place an early farmer if you haven't anything better to do with this one here, and if you have a bunch of meeples in hand. The same question could be posed to yellow. Wouldn't mind a farmer over here as well. I expect a monastery to land there rather sometime. Yeah, so Kirillo today discovered that he's a mind reader. So he knows for sure that mosopal was waiting for 6 monasteries. But then he didn't foresee this simple vanilla here occupying the monastery spot. Yeah, 6 monasteries in a row could happen. It's just quite unlikely. To the tune of, I don't know how many orders of magnitude, but we could calculate quickly, right? So let's just estimate if, let's say, 60 tiles left. Okay. Roughly once in, I think, 1 million games. So back to this one. Yeah, expected restriction of yellow city. Blue's field is now already at 9 points. For now, there's still an easy attack available, which is gone because blue severely expanded their field in the best location there was available. Still 2 daggers left and sometimes tricky options to attack or restrict these squares here. I wouldn't mind killing this one now that you got the chance, and blue doesn't, instead goes for the restriction up top, which did not work. And here we go. Yellow with the next monastery, blue will close the city, claim the road, would end up looping around here, extending the field to the right side and creating an even bigger field, which these two then would need to fight for. Has to leave this empty because there are no starting tiles left, right? Yeah, no starting tiles left. Insurance farmer dropped at the right point in time, else yellow likely would attack this field on the next chance. Yellow with this Dorito didn't go for protection, did go for efficiently continuing this city build. Either they get the dagger before blue gets a straight or not. And if not, well, at least they'd have a sizable ruin. And this here at least is a 6-point flip in yellow's favor. So some value gained by going for this one, at least. And right now it looks like yellow might win fieldless here. They need to get the meeple back though. And maybe drop the splitter. Not drop the splitter. Dodge the splitter. Because this is just too valuable for blue, closing this one on their field. So here's the second meeple back in yellow's hands. We are currently at +7, so no need to attack blue's field for now, which would be complicated anyway with 2 blue meeples already present on this one. Yeah, I like this here. Sure, it takes away a monastery spot. So Blue could have also considered this. I mean, they are behind. So going for this sinister hamster, creating more volatility or more volatile options here should be in their interest. Yeah, here's the splitter. Blue should take over the lead. Yeah, by 3 points now. But this gives back the chance for yellow to take over this city, which they don't go for. They go over here, hoping to draw a cap before blue does attack their city, which did not work. They could have tried to play this a bit safer, but there aren't that many city tiles left, especially not a lot of Doritos. So going for this one here or this didn't really work that well. Yeah, yellow attacked with one farmer and will now attack with the second one as well. Nice kill by blue, also killing this city here, which yellow would have loved to take. There's still the road monastery left in the deck. Yeah, this attack would work as well, but with the road monastery, in some cases, this here could be considered by yellow. Adding 2 farmers with only 1 tile. Because, for example, this extender or the remaining cow aren't able to kill a square. And a straight or regular monastery wouldn't work to restrict this one here either. So we'll see. At -3. And with both only having 1 meeple in hand, there aren't really great options for yellow. There's this 4-point road. Blue might just add 2 points, also giving them the chance to close the road and take the field for additional 5 points. This one here, even though it reduces yellow's chances to connect to a 50-50, I don't like at all, because it prepares the road monastery field equalization. Doesn't hit for yellow, sadly. Would have loved to see this one. Yeah, and blue now can't even place the monastery stacked over here because they'd add another city to yellow's farm. So the monastery wouldn't be worth 5 plus 1, 6 points, but just 3. So they shot themselves in the foot with this curve here. Yeah, looks like they just need to go there, right? I mean, they have the 2 meeples on the farm. Just take away 3 from yellow, add another 6 for yourself. This here is dead. Yeah, 9-point move. And yellow doesn't have a meeple, so that would be a blue win, right? Because yellow would only score 1 point next to the monastery. We'll see if they find this. I mean, it's pretty obvious, but even obvious sometimes isn't good enough. Yeah, basically the only reason for this curve is restricting this square to a 50-50 instead of leaving 3 road pieces, which would go there. So the road monastery, the straight or crossroad were still available. But again, this is just an utterly bad move. Especially if you have a good option like this one here available to you. You might be right, Kyrillo. Let's check. So 3 points in the end for mosopal. Let's quickly check the replay here, because that's, if it loads, easier than the alternative. So what Kyrillo was saying is yellow had the horse in hand and claimed a 4-point road up top, which looked totally fine. But they could have gone for this one here. So they are at -3. If they hit the monastery, they'd claim 1, 2, 3, 4, 21 points. Yeah, definitely enough to win the game, unless there is another option for blue to add a 3rd farmer to the field. And there is. Plus straight would work. Yeah, but considering you might still win this one if you just take the 4 points and draw the road monastery to score, for example, 4 minus 2 plus 3, so 5 points on the left. I do understand this move up top. I think this is fine, because in some cases either you get this monastery to execute this move, or you could get straight to execute the field attack after all as well. So I get taking immediate 4 points. So just as quick assessment of this situation. So what happened here? First move, second move, third one, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. Yeah, looks fine to me. Yeah, sure, you're welcome. I mean, the idea of attacking the field immediately was definitely a worthy one to consider. And I mean, the score was close enough, I think, that if you'd simulate this, I mean, the winning chance wasn't 50-50. For one, the monastery connection could have been blocked. And on the other hand, there was still at least the one re-attack for blue in the deck. So I'm not sure which of the options would have been the theoretically better one. We still need a simulator for situations like this one. So back to the game at hand. Finally, a decider. Might even be the first one I cover this week. Actually not sure. Let me quickly check. No, we witnessed Elias yesterday sadly not going for the move he was considering against Krishna and then losing the decider by just a few points. So if you haven't checked out yesterday's stream, especially the last game and the post-mortem, which took, I don't know, 40-50 minutes with both players being present and chiming in. And thanks again to Krish and Elias for answering my questions. It was definitely highly appreciated. So Mosopal currently leading this one. Nice monasteries for blue though. This one here happily controlling the city on the left. A central field waiting to be expanded to the bottom left. And it might be worth adding a farmer there. For now, of course, both don't. Especially yellow can't even meeple anything with only the one in hand, so they rely on quick points for now and should hope to get one of their monasteries liberated. Yeah. Not ideal, definitely not. But if there are no quick points, if you'd rather not endanger your road here, although that's not their road, so why not just go over here? Because no matter what you add there, there'll always be an option to attack the city. Well, unless you'd use the quad, then your opponent would need to get the splitters to attack, or do it this way, which looks wonky, but sometimes works. So blue snatches this one. There is only one left-handed dagger left. Therefore, they quite surely now consider the self-restriction, which protects the city and gives at least 3 outs to still close this. But they don't go for this move. Instead, they take away connection options from yellow and might suffer the consequences. Yeah. I'm not sure that was the best move. I would have loved this attack, considering there are still 2 roses left in the deck, and you want to draw a rose anyway, and there are still 3 Doritos left. And then just wait over here for a better tile to restrict your opponent's city. And now they don't even kill this city with the curve. I mean, come on. You can't be serious. Yeah, mosopal should attack. Yes, it's their last meeple, but this one is so easy to get back. And this here, once they attack as well, still 3 Doritos left. Yeah, it's your last meeple. I get it, but it's worth it. Just consider the alternative, and the alternative would be giving your opponent a great chance to get 6 points and a meeple back. Okay, minute 45 left. Mosopal still hasn't pulled the trigger, but he has to, and he does. At least he gets 4 points for his troubles. Plus a juicy field. Opts to protect city / ruin against any attacks, which I get. Preferably would have gotten a simple cap to close this one, because it's still alive, or was still alive. Yep. Exactly the right move. If yellow doesn't want a 9-point field, that could very well be still increase. With 2 meeples in hand, then of course blue takes this with their last meeple. Why not? Again, they have 2 meeples they could quite easily get back if they only get a city cap. So looks to me like yellow is working hard on wasting this game here. Of course, you meeple the monastery with 3 meeples in hand and this road right next to it. There is no reason with 20 tiles left not to meeple this one. You still would have 2 left, and you only need the one to attack the field. Deservedly so, blue gets a curve to protect their city. The problem, though, is if they don't get this meeple back before closing their city, they create a 12-point field, and it pains me. But yellow found a good move here. This is a 9-point field for now. There's still a chance to create a loop on the right side to add another city, and of course the rose in blue's hand would add another 2 cities, 3 cities actually, to yellow's field. So basically yellow might not be the worst move to close blue's city. Else blue could have the chance to attack this field. Yeah, yellow doesn't like this, doesn't like giving blue a meeple back, and this is correct. Just taking the 3 points is totally fine. They are ahead, and they have the meeple majority. They could still claim a 6-point field here, and should do now. Blue still has 1 curve left to attack this field. They could also attack from here. Killing move for blue available, and they execute immediately. Put on them. Sadly, yellow gets the rose. So -10 for blue. They can't pad their field at the bottom with anything, so looks like a lost cause to me, unless there is a way. There is a way. And the way is in this attack here with the monastery and a field takeover. But it's definitely not easy to find. Yeah, works the same with the crossroad. This would take away 9 points from yellow, and blue would gain these 9 points, so an 18-point swing in their favor. But even these 18 points, when you're down -12, aren't enough. When your opponent still has options to claim quick points or, well, block this connection. But I don't see an alternative winning route for blue than to attack the field and try to take over. +3 for blue? No. Blue has only the one meeple in hand, so they won't score these 3 points. Yeah, this just does not work. At -12, going for a 9-point swing doesn't improve your winning chances. It's just not efficient enough. Yeah, okay. In this permutation, it wouldn't have worked. Well, unless yellow would have blundered. This here would have been a kill. Is not. But again, this is not the move blue had to find. So what did I say? -12, 18 for blue. They would need the monastery and in a perfect world, the crossroad, right? Plus one of the curvies, maybe this one. So yellow would have scored 3 points, but in some cases they get the curve on the last turn and then it doesn't matter. Yeah, there were permutations for blue to win this one if they only had found this attack. Sure, it's unlikely to be successful. Curve would have been an immediate block. Straights as well. But at least it was a chance, as tiny as it may have been. Yeah, I'm definitely not convinced by Tesh's play here. And I think with these mistakes they made in the games, I mean, I would have liked mosopal to win, actually. Be quite frankly, because I didn't see big blunders in blue's game, at least. But that's Carcassonne sometimes. You might make less mistakes than your opponent, but still lose. At least mosopal secured an okay tiebreaker. But let's check their next opponents. So mosopal, okay, definitely the underdog against Mikhail and Krishna. Should have good chances against Portguard and King Didi. Although I wouldn't underestimate the king. And Tesche will be the underdog against Joao, Phosphate, and Porter. Yeah, Porter is, at least in my book, the better player. Kreukle is more on Tesche's level, I think. Looked more confident. This one you'd have to explain, Kirillo. I mean, is confidence not killing your opponent's city when there are still 2 outs? Sorry, to me, this is just plain and simply a mistake. You can't just rely on the luck of the draw. Okay. Sadly, Adria can't explain his view. Well, then it is what it is. So, back to Carcassonne.gg. Tomorrow there'll be quite a few games, and oh, come on, guys and gals. Why do you have to schedule 3 matches at the same time? Ugh, annoying. So I know that Otto won't be able to cover anything tomorrow. So this one here won't be covered. Alexi takes care of David and you. And I quite likely will cover then Tito versus Bluste, which runs concurrently. Yeah. I don't mind you watching Alexi live. Do what you must. And nothing else scheduled so far, but there are, I think, still a lot of matches without a set date, right? So at least these 3 plus another 3. Yeah, 6. Let's see, European versus European as well. Okay, this should be an later starting time actually. 2 Europeans again, 2 Europeans, and another pair of Europeans. Well, who knows where Fox lives? Might be Asia, or time zone-wise Asia. Yeah, we'll see about these ones. I don't know. I would watch, if I were to watch anything live, I might watch Alexi actually, and not me or myself, because I tend to watch Alexi with a speed of 2.5 or 3, and I could watch my videos even faster than that. So just to save time, I would opt for Alexi. Anyway, doesn't matter to me. Of course, I'd like a co-host being present. I like folks in the chat asking questions, suggesting moves, pointing out my mistakes, my oversights. But if you are not there, it is what it is. Yeah, thanks, Kirillo. At least for being here today and making me laugh. I appreciate the support. So thanks to the silent part of the viewership as well. Yes, you, and you. Chime in next time. See you soon. Bye-bye.